Leading an effective team. When considering putting together a group of people to work on a project, it's important to know what the benefits of those teams could be. Communication is one of them. Working together in a team requires individuals to communicate well with one another and understand the scope of the work. It also increases performance and productivity within a department. It can motivate each other to doing the best job that they can, and each individual could come away learning something new. Characteristics of an effective team would be shared objectives, trust, cooperation, diversity, resources and support, and role clarity. So when you want to put together an effective team, it's important to have individuals that have shared objectives, those who want to work hard and do a good job. They need to trust one another, cooperate well with one another, and it's important to have diversity to understand everybody has a different walk of life, and they may have a different experience or a different knowledge to bring to the table. Having the appropriate resources and support in order to effectively meet that goal of the team is also very important. And role clarity, knowing which individual in the team is responsible for which portion of work. 7 habits model. This is something that helps create a strong, effective team. So to be proactive, which means being forward thinking, addressing issues that could arise before they happen, instead of being reactive to situations, making sure that you have thought it through and try to plan for any issues that may happen. Next is begin with the end in mind. So of course, there's always that the end in mind would be your goal. What are you planning towards? What do you want to accomplish? Put first things first. That means, prioritize. Obviously, some tasks might not be quite as important, or they may even need to be done later on in the process. So knowing what needs to get done first and might be urgent or is most important. Think win-win. That's when everybody in the team understands there's a mutual benefit to working well together to get the best end result. Seek to understand, then be understood. This is important when it comes to communication. You need to listen to somebody to understand, not just to listen. Don't talk over someone else. Listen to their concerns or their thoughts and their knowledge before you jump in and try to explain your thoughts and your ideas. When working through the seek to understand, then be understood, it promotes good problem solving techniques because it helps develop good communication habits and really listening to what other people have to say. Synergize. That combines the strengths of all to achieve the team goals. So each individual holds their own set of strengths to understand, how to get to that end goal. And it's important that you combine all of those to get the best benefit. Sharpen the saw. That is basically just developing a long-term effective routine to having a successful team. There are different types of teams: multifunctional, informal, traditional, problem-solving, leadership teams, self-directed, and virtual. Within this, the team that we are discussing, they are creating a performance evaluation for employees. I feel that multifunctional team is the best way to put it together. You have a diverse group of individuals throughout different departments of the company, which will really benefit the end product. Team performance and productivity. With any type of team, you have input, the process itself, and output. With the input is the information, the contributions, and the goal. So understanding, the different resources that are needed. Within the process, that brings together everybody's knowledge and skills, the team dynamic, and that's where you kind of create the strategy to accomplish the goal. And output is the results of the team. The STAR team model is a good way to look at how to best work well within a team. So S would be for your strengths. So the strength of each individual for the best contribution. And what that means is each individual brings forth their own expertise and their knowledge. And it's important to let them work within their wheelhouse and to best offer their knowledge. T for teamwork. That's how the team works together. It's really important to take a look at how everyone is working together and making sure that everybody feels that proper teamwork is the key to success. A is for alignment. So the team leader aligns the strengths to gain the effective teamwork. So they have the ability to align those individuals and their strengths with what best works for the team. And R is for results, which is the result of the team performance. Were they able to accomplish their goals? Setting performance standards. There are normally 3 questions that you need to ask when setting performance criteria. So what job is needed? It needs to be clearly defined. Team roles need to be understood. How will the job be completed? So basically have an outline of the process and the expectations of each individual so you know how you're going to get to that end product. And then how will the completion of the job be measured? So how do we know if it was a successful team collaboration? So you can use performance appraisals and evaluations to understand if the job was measured appropriately. Performance tools. There are team evaluation tools. There's 4 main ones. In this one, the customer analysis doesn't necessarily fit because we're not dealing with customers, we're dealing with individuals and employees within an organization. So the top-down analysis is taking a look at how the team worked through a management perspective. The bottom-up analysis is through the team's perspective, and the peer-to-peer analysis is based on each team member's perspective of each other. So when it comes to rewarding a team, it can really be a benefit into motivating them and really getting the best performance out of each individual. For this type of team, when they're working on a performance evaluation, it's important to realize that maybe monetary rewarding isn't the best. It's not as easy to judge, and it's more of I think the non-monetary approach would be the better way to reward a team. So maybe gift certificates to the whole team so they can have a group lunch one day. Or maybe even giving them company logoed team shirts so that each individual has a shirt and they can be recognized for a job well done. And when they wear that shirt, everybody knows that they were a specific individual within the team that created the new performance evaluations. Team mental models are important to understand because it can help aid in the communication area. So task focused is based on the equipment, procedures, and performance requirements. Your team focused is interpersonal interaction requirement and team member skills. And then your transactive focused is expertise shared between team members and made up of the knowledge possessed through the team. Learning behaviors. So in any type of team situation, there may be areas where feedback or some type of learning situation comes up. So corrective feedback is an opportunity for improvement through coaching. The team leader could potentially give the feedback needed for the individuals to understand maybe where the opportunities are where they can improve. Group reflection is evaluating the performance of the team. So within the team, you can reflect upon the tasks that you completed, what could have been done better, and maybe things to change in the future. Team self-correction, that's really more of correcting attitudes and behaviors that may be a little off base, working on problem solving when there could be conflicts or issues. So some of the communication challenges that arise within teams, position. So an individual may be putting their personal beliefs or positions before the position that is the best interest of the team. That can create a conflict because not everybody has the same thoughts and beliefs, and that's what makes a team unique and diverse. And so if people can't put aside their personal positions without, you know, going against the grain, I guess it's not for the best interest of the team. Experience. Team members not respecting other individuals' experience. This happens a lot, especially, with generational differences. Sometimes if a younger member of the team has great knowledge and expertise in the area that they are discussing, there's sometimes older team members that might not be as accepting of that knowledge and their experience, which can create conflict all in itself. And then written communication, there's a lack of personal contact. Communicating only through email, that can get really tricky. A lot of times we don't think about how somebody else may perceive that email. When we're just reading written word, there's always that opportunity that somebody can maybe misconstrue the message or maybe not understand where you're coming from, potentially take offense. So a lot of times personal contact, so having a meeting, getting together and actually having a discussion is much easier to understand where everyone is coming from and making sure everyone is on the same page. So some of the leadership challenges that a leader would experience through running a team, conflict. So there's always going to be people's personalities that maybe don't quite mesh or get along, and knowing how to effectively work through those problems is a huge benefit. Communication is another thing. Everybody communicates differently. Some people don't necessarily, I guess the best way to put it would be they maybe read too much into things. They might be offended by something that was never meant to be. So that can be a challenge. Respect. Having the respect for each team member is important because we all have a job to do, and to respect each other and to know that that job is going to get done is very important. And then negativity. There's usually somebody that maybe approaches life a little bit more negatively than others, and to be able to combat that and to overcome that negativity and make sure that the team stays positive is very important. Thank you.